Okay. I think we're good now. My new webcam is going. Okay, yep, the screen is up now. Look at all the viewers, we're already logging in. Let me pull this up real quick so that I can watch it so I can watch it.
So that you can monitor.
Yeah, so I can monitor it and I'll watch it, because I'm the only viewer that's probably going to be watching this. Ooh. 1960s Cruising in the Jet Age. I'll have to watch that later. Shoot. Someone's in the chat. I don't know who that is, though. Is it blocked? Who is this? Oh, one viewer. All right. Okay. There we go. There we go. Okay, we're monitoring now. I'll just put this right here on my thing. Okay, now we're playing the game. After an hour of an hour. Okay. After a minute of wasting time. Let's play the game. I guess we're doing this first because I just accidentally did something. This is touring the SS Vaterland from Albert Ballin. This ship was built same general time period as the Titanic. I'm just going to be looking around. I've actually not looked at this too much. Ooh, I'll get a full screen. Nice. So right now, that was just the entryway. We'll go back over here. First class entrance. And it appears that there's actually another ship out there. I don't know what that would be. But this is a fantastic recreation of some of the interiors of the Vaterland. Oh my gosh. And look at that. Already seeing some cool stuff. There's some postcards on the table right there. And if I remember correctly, on the Vaterland's design, yeah, there's a pool. Look at this fantastic pool. And someone would need to correct me if I'm wrong, but a guy named all I remember was he was a French guy, and he helped design all of the interiors for the Ballin Trio. And this is a massive pool, almost 3 decks high if you include the bottom of the pool, but technically this is a 2-deck high swimming pool. I think I can get over there, so I'm going to try and do that. But this is an interesting little alcove here that you can just stand and look off into the pool there. So now we're back in the entryway. There is the other gangway doors that you can head onto the ship. Alright. We'll head down first class corridors here. And this would be, yeah, the heater. This keeps the interiors of the ship, as you can imagine, it would keep the interiors of the ship heated, which is crucial on the chilly North Atlantic in which this ship would be operating. Maybe. Not. Okay, let me think for a second. Okay. Never mind. Yep, just some corridors. These are all cabins through these doors here. Oh, just slammed into a wall. Okay. Yeah. Okay, let me explain the need for handrails. So, when the ship is rocking back and forth, if there's no handrails on the side, it's more likely for the passengers to fall and get hurt. This was actually evident on the Queen Mary. In one of the first voyages, it encountered rough weather, and there were no handrails because they thought that it would be so big that it would be more or less impervious to rough weather, but that did not prove to be correct. And that led to a bunch of people getting injured because they were just falling, getting hurt, and you know. Okay, what just happened? Okay. What the heck? Okay, whatever. Sorry. First class corridors. We'll keep going down here. Let me quickly do this so that I can see the chat better. Okay, what's this? Oh, yep, there's the other area. Over there is where we were just at in that little balcony slash alcove over there. Fantastic tile work on this, by the way. If only they built ships like this still. In which I would at least certainly sail on this, rather than some top-heavy, dusty, crusty cruise ship. Hello, also, to the people joining. Well, there's actually people joining. Three people are in the in the thing. Oh. So let me just go back here and read some of the comments that people are saying. Okay. Yep. I don't... Who's that? Okay. Who's this? Okay. Hello. Alright. First class room at all. I was just in the first class rooms. What's a boat? A boat is a buoyant vessel that sails on the surface of water. Hope that helps. Okay, let's get back to this. First class swimming pool. I think I can head down here, actually. Yeah, we're in the pool now. This gets slightly deeper. I have not noticed that before. And... okay, whatever the heck that was. Yep. That's interesting. I have no idea what that is. Okay, wait, what is this? Oh, that's just a balcony that was just at, I think that's the name of the statue? I don't know. Ooh, yeah, okay. I know where we're doing now. Back to the first class corridors. We'll head all the way here. Oh, shoot, I just went the wrong way. Okay, then. Oh, okay. The ceiling! Wow. Look at the ceiling. It's so cool. Oh my gosh. The ceiling. Thanks for labeling that, Project Vaterland. Oh. Okay, wait. Come here. Come back. Come back. Okay. 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 All right, let's head back in here. First class dining room. The entrance to the dining room will be accessible in a later... oh, a later update. Come on, I want to go in there now. Shoot, man. Alright, 3 people are still watching. Thanks for the singular like. I hope the webcam, the new webcam that I got for $0 is working well. These are nice wicker chairs here. And I think that's the lift, right? Or something. Okay, you can't go over there. Let's use this little thing on the side because we've done all of these first class areas. We'll go to the first class gymnasium though. Oh, that's... okay. Hello there. Mm-hmm. That's... okay. I don't know what in the world this thing is. Devices. Fitted out with the latest training equipment, popular in the German community, many provided by Xander. Unfortunately, they have not been installed yet. Oh, so this is a completely empty room that hasn't been fitted out, besides the training horse, yeah. This is very nice. Look at this. This is very nice. Skylight going down. all the way to the dining room down here. Social hall. Oh my gosh. Social hall, dining room. Looks the same. Come on. Okay, there's a gymnasium. Fire extinguisher. Fire extinguishers were extremely important. As you can imagine, it would be very important to put out a fire. Painting starboard side. And imagine, yep, painting port side. Boat deck. Let's head out onto the boat deck. Yep, lots of boats on the boat deck. So, you can see, I think these are collapsible boats here, and this canvas side would be set up if the ship were to, you know, go into some trouble and end up starting to sink. Whole line of boats down the side there, and we're at the forward end of the ship now. And this is, I think, some sort of, I think maybe a Red Star liner or something, but this was not actually encountered. I remember one of the only things I have seen on the Project Vaterland is that this is not like part of the actual voyage that this is taking place on, and that was added because someone made the model for that. So that's pretty cool. And look at how cluttered with machinery the front areas of the ship are. Steam winch. Oh, that's quite interesting. I have to go watch that later. And this is what I can tell, more lifeboats up front. Lots and lots of lifeboats. Lots of lifeboats. We're at the boat deck still. Can't go that way. Might as well head up to the bridge. And the bridge is the highest decks of the ship. And this up here, all of this stuff is the bridge, kinda. Bridge, wheelhouse, radio room, you know. Not radio room. I think the radio room is downstairs, actually. Is that working very well? Oh, that's cool. There's a little tender boat down here, too. Tender boat. Oh, look, it's the tender ship you saw at the entrance. Ah! That makes more sense. So that little ship that I saw was the tender boat. Very cool. Again, the top of the Vaterland is completely cluttered in these ventilators and heaters and stuff, water pumps, you know. Welcome to the bridge. And this is a very important piece of machinery here. This is the engine order telegraph. And the telegraph, basically you pull this handle here, you pull it forward and backwards to go slower or backwards, and then you pull it backwards and forwards to go forwards, which basically, if I explained that correctly, would make it so that the engine room crew could identify that as an intentional movement and instead of like bumping it. But basically this controls the engine, not directly. It would tell the people in the engine room and the boiler rooms to pick up work or slow down if you're in the boiler rooms, and to adjust some steam lines in the engine room. This does not, as I already said, does not directly control the engines. Got another comment. Let me check that. I'm just going to read it. What did they say? What is this? What is this app called? Okay, this is Project Vaterland, and it is just basically a web thing for exploring the SS Vaterland. Yep. Okay. Hello. I've never. Okay, everyone, welcome to the stream. Anyway, we'll keep going. The steering wheel would control the engine, the steering engines for the rudder, and that was controlled hydraulically, so that directly controls the steering equipment. Back here is the wheelhouse. That is actually where you would steer the ship. This part back here, if I can see a wheel in there. Maybe I'm thinking of the Titanic, I don't know if the Vaterland is the same or not, but basically this is where a helmsman, sorry, would be stationed, and the officers would be telling him which way to steer the wheel. This wheel was for the harbor pilot. He needed to see where he was going. The helmsman did not. Helmsman? Sorry, what am I doing? The helmsman did not need to see where he was going. Yep, the city of New York. Yep, exactly correct. Okay. Big vents up there, funnels, normal steamship stuff. Officer's house. Lead to the corridors. Okay, yeah. This is all crew stuff up here. You can't go here if you're a passenger. And is there anything else? We'll go to some cabins. This is a basic cabin here. Low in the ship, you can see the angle of the hull. Very basic. Single light here. And these doors and walls are extremely thin. And that would, as you can imagine, let you hear all of your neighbors and everything that they were saying, which is not particularly enjoyable. Cabin. Yep, cabin. That's exactly what this is. And Hamburg America Line is the company that operated the Vaterland, the Imperator, and the Bismarck, in which were all handed over to foreign countries when Germany lost World War I. The Vaterland was turned into the Leviathan for the United States lines, but that never ended up being very popular. And there's just a whole bunch of stuff here. Crew areas. Oh man, can't go down there, but whatever. Can I see the engine rooms with this? Doesn't appear that I can use that, but whatever. This is just a basic fourth class dining room here. And this is, as you can imagine, the most uncomfortable and Spartan area that a passenger could stay in, I guess. And we got a whole bunch of just exposed machinery and whatnot. This is a fire connection point, I believe. And just got some basic wooden tables, you know. This is probably the fourth class entrance, am I correct? Additional entrance door. Main entrance for steerage, one deck below. Okay, so you could hook up additional gangways to that if needed. And we'll head up. And yes, this is the steering equipment at the back of the ship. Steam engine. Yep. Or is it the steering equipment? Where am I right now? Thermotank. The thermotank is an interesting piece of equipment. This is a water tank, and the water is heated by steam and run through pipes and such to heat your cabins, right? Ventilate steerage, crew areas, famous ocean liners. So like Titanic, Lusitania, all of that. They all had thermotanks. And we'll head back here. I think wheelhouse. This is the wheelhouse. This is what I was talking about. This is where the helmsman would be standing. And he did not need to see where he was going. This is the chart room directly behind that. And the chart room is where I guess you would use charts, as you can imagine. And that may have to conclude Project Vaterland. Right? Nothing else that we can see here. Gone to everything? Okay. We're going to conclude the tour of Project Vaterland. Oh, wait, hold up. I did not know you could do that. Let's go outside for real quick. Oh, I haven't gone to the flying bridge either. Okay, it's raining right now. This is cool. And the decks of the ship are slightly tilted to one side or the other. It's like arched in the middle. I forget what you call that. It's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember what you call that. Shoot. Anyway, the tilt of the deck would guide the water off the off the side of the ship to the scuppers, and that would safely guide that away off the edge of the ship. Morse lamp, where is that? Up here. Okay. Anyway. Wow, I did not know you could do any of this stuff. What's this? Ooh, nighttime. This is cool. And back to sun. Alright. Lookout tower, lookout crow's nest, whatever you want to call it. This is what the lookouts would be sitting in, slash standing in, I guess, to warn of danger. So if this ship was, say, turning towards us, if the wheelhouse people, if the bridge people, I'm sorry, if the people in the bridge, the officers of the watch and whatnot, did not see that this ship was going towards the Vaterland, the people in the lookout slash crow's nest up here would warn of that, and then they could get out of the way, which is what they attempted to do on the Titanic, but as you know, that did not work out correctly. Just saw the iceberg too late. Okay. Anyway, this is going to conclude. Okay, one more thing before we stop here. This is a magnetic compass here, and the steel like spheres on either side here. That is just to balance out the magnetic interference from the rest of the ship. You know, it's all made of steel and iron and stuff like that. And as you can imagine, that would interrupt the magnetic signal, magnetic something, I don't know what you want to call it. You know. Anyway, that just keeps the compass accurate. And that is going to conclude our tour of the Project Vaterland. Let's head over now to... Oh. Has no running mate, and prohibition was observed aboard her. That's interesting. Did, Bismarck wasn't completed until the war, right? I wouldn't be able to say that for 100% fact, but fairly certain. And yes, Ainsley, this is cool. Had no running mate. Okay, what was the other one? The Bismarck and the Majestic it was turned into, I think, right? No, that was the Bismarck. Berengaria was the shoot. I can't remember. The third one I always forget is the Okay, wait. Bismarck, Vaterland, and Imperator. Yep. Okay, I made a video about that and I don't even remember. Imperator. Did those two, or at least three, not work together? Maybe not the Bismarck, because that was still under construction, I think. Bismarck went to White Star. Yep. Okay. That is correct. I thought I was being confused there. Emperor. Okay. You are the first people to be interacting with the stream, by the way, and it is greatly appreciated. And now I can't switch to my thing. Okay. This is a tour done by Wildwood Video Archive. And this basically allows me to, if I can figure it out, 360, let me refresh the page. I don't know what it's doing. Huh. Why can't I move around? Oh, shoot. I don't want that to happen. Why can't I move my thing? Dang it. Come on, man. You just show me this ad when I'm doing a peaceful live stream. Okay, I'm not political, so that was just out of pure chance. And this is not sponsored by US Bank either. Please get off my screen. Thank you. Okay. Yep, I can move around now. Hooray. So, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to turn the volume off for this. Okay, now we're in the SS United States. This is Pier 82 in Philadelphia. And just looking at this, you may think, oh my gosh, it's in horrible condition. But no. Ooh. By the way, this is a great video. Please go watch it if you haven't. Yeah. So this is the SS United States. Back to what I was saying. If you were looking at this and you don't know everything there is to know about ships, or at least a lot, you would say that this is in very bad shape. But in reality, it's not that bad. I mean, the hull... Dang it, what is it doing? The hull itself is in good shape. Great shape, actually, to the point where they were able to drag it to Mobile, Alabama, to strip it of everything that was useful on it. So, and you can see the gangway doors here, similar to the ones on the Vaterland that I just showed you. Then, up here, this area that sticks off with all the glass windows, that is the covered promenade. So when the ship is going 35, 40 knots, there's a 35 to 40 knot wind that would be whipping down the decks of the United States. And as you can imagine, that would be very uncomfortable for passengers. So they made this whole entire covered promenade, and we'll get to that later. We can explore that, actually. I'm just going to skip a little to this interior area. This is first class, and you can tell from the dots on the ground on the tiles and linoleum, whatever this is called, the deck. And there's a there is a different marking on the floor of each class. First class, tourist class, and cabin class. I did that out of order, but you know. And we'll look all the way down there. Look at how long this corridor is. And you can see it slightly curves because the ship itself is curved. Can it stop popping up, please? Okay, this is also my brother's computer. If this was my computer, then it'd be showing a bunch of ocean liner documentaries, but whatever. And this is all stripped down to the bare bulkheads. In reality, there would be fireproof panels on the wall here. Very luxurious, well, in a 50s sense and 60s sense, not in a 20s lavish sense. This was more of a mid-century modern, kind of sleek and elegant interior. Instead of that ornate, almost too much ornate interiors of like the Titanic even, or the Vaterland. I mean, the Vaterland was pretty modest from what I could tell, so. Anyway, from here, this would all have been cabins. We'll see here, this is where a toilet fixture would have gone, and this is where a bed would have gone. And over here, some sort of maybe a little counter or something. Get out of here, please. Okay, this is probably where a shower or tub would have gone. And some of the cabins are different, like this one is probably a shower, right? And this one's probably a bathtub. And I'm saying that because this is smaller for standing up, and this is larger for, as you can imagine, using it like a bathtub would be. But also, this is where a drop ceiling would be. None of this stuff on the ceiling would actually be visible. And, yeah. And it's also pretty dark. None of the lighting works anymore, so they've got some makeshift lighting up. Man, I would have loved to go on this ship. Well, I could have still done it. Maybe 5, 10 years ago, even. Except, I did not find out about the United States until 3 or 4 years ago. And they were doing all of the things to her and, you know, destroying it, basically. And I'm going to skip forward a little bit to this area. And this is, if it loads, the smoking lounge. And also, I would like to comment on how awesome it is that they made a SS United States drink. I don't know if this has alcohol in it or not. But that's pretty cool. I don't know what this is, what drink it is at all, but yeah. And about 5 years ago, you could have very well helped the record-breaking SS United States be saved, but now I'm afraid it might be too late for that. And this bar, this is original, and you can see where all of the tables were at. They've cut them off or removed them, and they've put some new ones in. These aren't originals as far as I can tell. And got some stools here, you know. And the ceiling is gutted out. It actually appears that they have some real lighting up here. That's interesting. Yeah, this is all still virtually how it was in the 1950s. Of course, apparently they've taken all the doors and stuff off the cabinets, but it's pretty much exactly how it was, besides, all the paneling and stuff that's missing. Alt tab. I see someone's commented on. Okay. How big is the SS United States? The SS United States is 990 feet long and about 70 to 80 feet wide. Pretty slim, actually, for being almost 1,000 feet. It couldn't be exactly 1,000 feet because they were trying to fit the ship into the Panama Canal, and the Panama Canal it was 1,000 feet long, and it would allow for enough clearance to safely go into the canal instead of squeezing in barely. So that explains why it's not exactly 1,000 feet long, even though her designer, William Francis Gibbs, did want the United States to be exactly 1,000 feet. That's what he was designing ever since the 1920s. And it's a shame that they're destroying this ship, number one, because it's such a historical vessel in itself, but also the United States' designer, William Francis Gibbs, he was working on designing the United States, or what it was and what it became was 40 plus years of work, and the fact that it wasn't basically his entire life work was unable to be saved because of some lack of money and, just tragic stuff that has caused it to be destroyed, basically. So, oh, that's useful. Okay. Can you just put that up somewhere? Sorry. Okay. And we're gonna keep looking around the United States as it was in 2024. Okay, we'll head over to the great big dining room, right? Ballroom, sorry. Shoot, man. Okay, wait, yeah, the dining room is different than this. I don't know why I thought this was the dining room. The ballroom. Let me first explain this bar here. This is not original to the United States, and it was actually brought onto the ship later for a movie being filmed. And that's quite interesting because it almost resembles the original one that's back in the smoking lounge, which is quite cool as well. And yeah, this is the ballroom. They've got a stage up here where, you know, the musical artists and stuff, musicians would be playing. And this is the dance floor here, mostly intact until you turn around. It's kind of starting to break up here. Yeah, you can see where more tables were mounted on the ground here. Lots of tables around. Big windows, lots of natural light in the United States. And up here was where a dome was at one point. It was taken out along with the rest of the interiors in the 1980s because it was, number one, it was thoroughly ruined from rust because it was sitting for years and years without any maintenance at all besides a dehumidifier running. And they took it all out in the 80s because a company called Marmara Marine was going to refurbish it. And then Greenpeace, an organization which, preaches for a better planet by environmental measures, they got on board the ship and put banners and stuff, protested it in Turkey, and that basically caused them to have to remove all of the asbestos marinite panels that were at one time mounted onto the ship. And marinite is, as I mentioned before, asbestos, but why not use wood instead of asbestos? Well, William Francis Gibbs was extremely obsessed with fire safety because he saw what happened to another ocean liner called the Morro Castle in 1934, and it burned spectacularly in front of a crowd of thousands of people when it went up onto the beach at Asbury Park, New Jersey. So, that's quite unfortunate. That's quite interesting. Your dad was a port authority. Uh, just click back here. Oh, man. Okay, let me read this comment. This might be quite interesting here. Port Authority officer in Southampton, England for the U.S. Army in the mid-60s. He was a liaison for the military families aboard the United States. That's very cool. I have family that came over in the 1920s, but I can't figure out what ship they came on. They could have come on the Vaterland for all I know. They did come from Poland, though. So that's strange that I can't figure out where they came from or anything like that. So, we'll get back to the United States now. Right here. Keep looking at the ballroom. It's quite dark. I think there's a, in the dining room at least, this is a full 2 decks high. And we'll go over there. Okay, first we'll go to the covered promenade right here, if it loads. So this is what I was talking about at the very beginning. Super long. If I could maybe even walk to a better view of the covered promenade. Where does it go? Okay, we don't... Oh yeah, we get to the other side, but basically you got some lights here, bulkheads there, so this was a combination of structural and privacy. So you could set up your deck chair here and just, you know, just read a book and watch the ocean go by. That sounds fantastic to me. But of course, on the hideous shopping malls that are the modern cruise ships, there are no more covered promenades like this, which is actually unfortunate because every square inch of space has to be taken up with a pool, water sliders, shop. You can't just have something for relaxation. You have to have a pool or something. We'll head back into the interior more of the ship. And now we're in the observation lounge, as it says here on this little label. Of course, this isn't actually on the ship. I'm sure everyone watching already knows that, or at least can understand that, but whatever. It's interesting to see all of the, like, little flakes and stuff on the ground from when they were taking all of the interiors out. And this is cool here, because actually, this part has not been completely gutted yet. This was apparently some would say that it was just too far into the ship, and I know there's another, like, curved wall like this near the private lounges and stuff, but this basically hasn't been gutted yet, so if this were restored, it would show off what the panels for the United States would look like. And I don't even think this is probably not asbestos, otherwise they would have removed it already, if I had to guess, but maybe it is. I'll have to look at it some other time. But I would also like to say that if I could find one or not. Okay, so just imagine stuff like this trunking here, but along the ceiling. I've seen some pictures from Okaloosa County. They're talking on the internet. I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say, but basically, they've cut all of all of the trunking and stuff off of the ceiling for no particular reason. They just cut it all off, and they probably sent it to the breakers because they're, I hate to say it, but yeah, they're being kind of wasteful with this stuff. They could have even turned this into, like, you know, collectible coins or something made of aluminum. I know they did that for a limited amount of people that were working on the project, but not for the mass audience. Could have turned that into, like, I know what they do with retired plane fuselages and stuff. They turn that into keychains with the metal. That's cool. Why didn't you do that? Or even like art or something for the United States made out of the United States itself. Why didn't you do that? Or even just selling the chunks as it is. I'll have a piece of the United States, like a porthole. Yeah, sure, I'll take that. Yeah, this is probably where some trunking was. This is not taken from Okaloosa County. This is from 2024, as I mentioned. But this was probably gutted out at some time between the 80s and 2024, or earlier, for all I know. But anyway, we'll head up onto the bow. And from here, you can get a fantastic view at the bridge front of the United States, as well as the very front. All of this rigging and stuff here, lines and whatnot, are currently from when this was taken, connecting the ship to Pier 82 in Philadelphia. And you can see the radar mast and the funnel, a forward funnel, both of which have been removed. You got the king posts, which were also allowed the derricks to be connected and lift cargo aboard into the cargo hatches, in which Okaloosa have also taken the cargo hatches off and cut holes throughout the cargo hold to allow flooding and water and stuff, horrible things. Now, I don't know, but this is probably what they call a fairlead roller, and this guides up underneath of the bulkhead here, and this would roll and allow the lines to, travel along this, and then it would get wrapped around a steam capstan, which I can't seem to find one along here. These are all bollards as far as I can tell. Maybe that's just on the Lusitania and stuff, but basically this would come up and then you tie off your lines to this. This isn't a steam capstan, but basically that would wind up the lines and bring the ship closer or further from the dock. And that's all that's up here. I wish I could have gone on this so badly. And this is just a better view from the bow here. And it's quite interesting. There's actually a little bit of machinery at the very bow here. I don't know what this is, but I bet I could find it on some plans. And yeah, there's the famous IKEA that you could look out while you're eating your Swedish meatballs and look at the United States from the IKEA. Just more of the same stuff. You got the bridge and the bridge wings here. And I forgot to explain it, but this thing here, this is a water breaker. And basically, as the United States is thundering through the Atlantic swell, waves that would come up, instead of smashing into the bridge front and possibly even where some passengers were at, as on the Michelangelo or something like that, Raffaello or Michelangelo, I can't remember which one. I think it was the Michelangelo. But anyway, a rogue wave came up and hit the Michelangelo slash Raffaello's bridge front, and it completely destroyed it. And this is made of aluminum. And the disaster with the Italian ship happened later into the 60s or 70s. But basically, this is to guide the water off of the side of the ship instead of hitting the bridge. Okay. We'll keep going. And this is a cool view here. This is a cool view here. You can get a look at the bow anchor, the main anchor. It's still connected to the ship. And basically, yeah, this is just the starboard side of the United States. Lots of rust and, everything like that. This is the breakwater here. And I'm just gonna go around the breakwater. Look at the back of that now. There's a lot of ventilators and such. And these are the derricks laying on the ground here. And this is the cargo hatch, the forwardmost cargo hatch. And the derricks, which are connected to the king posts here, that would bring cargo from the shore into the cargo hold and then lower it down. Okay, this is a great view from the bow. We got the builder's play here. This says Gibbs and Cox for William Francis Gibbs and the Newport News Shipbuilding and Dry Dock Company of Newport News, Virginia, which is where the United States was built. Very curved here, streamlined, to make her look fast, and it certainly was fast. Got a series of doors here that would most likely lead into some ventilation spaces or even the cargo hold if there was a ladder down there. And there's another view of the king posts, and we can look up, and the bridge is just behind this bulkhead here. You can see the bridge wings. And there's a staircase down there, and I think there's one on this side too. Yeah. And this is the boat deck, the portside boat deck. And as we look here, this is quite interesting too. You've got some windbreakers. More commonly, there would be a full cover the entire length of this little deck here. That's more of, like, you can see one right there. And there's a doorway in it, and that just basically, if you're walking on the boat deck, that would prevent the 40 knot plus headwind if the ship was going 40 knots or so. No one knows exactly how fast the United States went. Plus the wind on the North Atlantic, and that could even herald up to like 50 knots plus of wind. I would hope no one's up here with 50 knots of wind, but basically that just interrupts the wind as it's coming down the ship. It hits this instead of hitting the passengers, and it kind of is a little shelter. Got some what looks to be a water line or something like that. Whole entire huge complex of them on the wall here. Lots of portholes. All this stuff was removed from Okaloosa County, by the way. This thing, even, made of glass, it's gone. Man, I would hope that they've saved it. I was talking with somebody that's working with Okaloosa County to strip the United States, and they didn't tell me exactly, but what I can tell, they haven't gotten rid of the portholes yet. Hopefully they won't ever, but basically, that stuff was all taken out by Okaloosa County. Now we're in the bridge. You can see the bridge windows. There's actually a pretty famous picture up here on the bridge. I have it in my room. And right here, got the bridge / wheelhouse sign on the ground, and there's a whole bunch of where equipment once was. This is where telegraphs were at here, similar to the Vaterlands. That would tell the engine room crew what to do with the steam, control the speed of the ship. And there were two separate engine rooms, the forward one and the aft one. And that was another thing with the United States, is that it was built to military standards. So that would mean that's basically going to make it the safest ship in the entire world. Safer than even probably most warships. And this is probably where radar was at. The main wheel was here, or maybe here. I'll look at the picture sometime. And just back here would have been the damage control boards and such like that. Water maintenance, fire control, the works like that. Again, the ceiling is gone. And the United States Conservancy had a bunch of light bars and stuff. It's interesting that they would spend money on lights instead of upkeep, like everything is just breaking up. They could have probably spent the money from the lights on maybe, an advertising campaign on the internet or something, and that could have generated hundreds of dollars, maybe even more than the lights and stuff were worth. Instead, they had some LED lights. So, not accusing anyone of anything, but if you know, you know. Okay, we're gonna leave the bridge now, and there's just another view of the bridge. This is a good view. I'll look at that. Yeah, just get a better view. Oh, hello there. Yeah, tons of electrical wiring and stuff. A lot of it's been taken out and sold for scrap because the Marmara Marine Corporation in Turkey had to, maybe they weren't located in Turkey, but they took it to Turkey for renovations. And they had to sell off the lifeboats, their davits, and probably even electrical wiring and stuff like that, just to keep her afloat. And what they were left with after the asbestos and the scrapping of the lifeboats and their davits and all of this stuff was basically what we see now, is just this empty, expansive metal hull. So that's quite sad as well. But we'll keep going. This is a sliding door, by the way. And now we'll head up onto the top deck. And you'll look up, there's the radar mast, and it's interesting that they also have a crow's nest up here. And this is basically the exact same thing as the Vaterlands, as we explored earlier. Bunch of ventilators and stuff. All of the deck has been stripped off, which is quite unfortunate. All of the rails are made of aluminum as well, or aluminium for my foreign viewers. We got the forward funnel, which is unfortunately looking pretty sad. This was once a vibrant red, vibrant white, and a vibrant blue. A very patriotic symbol of the United States flagship. And we will now go along the boat deck some more. And look at that. Isn't that cool? Wouldn't you want to see that instead of it getting ripped off and put on land? I mean, I'm not under any means saying that it sucks that we're just destroying all of it, because some of it's being saved, like the funnels, the radar mast, But wouldn't you want to see this on the ship instead of on some museum that they're going to build? And hopefully it does get built, because I would love to see this. And it's interesting. Okay, yeah, you can see it right here. You look up here, right? There's these little windows here. And there's actually a little platform up here. And this allows you to basically, if you were a crew member on the United States, you could look out of this, and during the during the Cold War, when the United States was built, somewhere along there, they could look off and spot enemy ships, enemy submarines, even enemy aircraft. And since the United States was the fastest ship in the world at the time of its building, it would also be a extremely valuable war target. So it was very important to protect it under any means necessary. Again, these are the little windbreakers here, and we can look in there. That's sad. What wise guy threw a rock through this window? What are we doing? What is society doing right now? I mean, it would probably be in better condition if they weren't storing it in Philadelphia, but you have to do what you gotta do to keep the United States afloat. You can get a great view of those little windows from here now. That's great. Fantastic. And look at that. Both funnels in view. That's super cool. And if anyone watching has any questions, I'd be happy to take those as well. Okay, before we get all the way to the stern, we can look at right here. You can see where the davits would have been. So this is where a davit would have been. These are gravity davits, so basically with the release, they fall, the boat itself kind of glides down and swings out automatically. And then just a winch would guide it down or up, depending on what you're doing. And this is where the davits would be mounted, and the lifeboat would have been here. But all of that is destroyed. Although, I am unsure if this is true or not, but I came across somebody who supposedly still has one of the SS United States' lifeboats, and he uses it as a cruiser around a lake in somewhere in the northeast of the United States somewhere. I don't remember what it was. But that'd be super cool to see. I don't know if that was true or not. I don't know how they would get it from Turkey to the United States. Maybe on a shipping container or something. But that's very interesting if it's true. Okay, now we're heading up onto the stern. And it looks similar to the bow here, right? There's the same king posts, which serve the same purpose, guiding cargo down into the cargo holds. And yeah. We're seeing more of that green poured neotex right here, right? This is another fireproof technique. Instead of the planks, this was poured onto the deck, and it was completely fireproof. Probably better than plank in most ways as well. Okay, this is another view of the indoor promenade. This is on the port side now. And basically, right here, these are where lights were at. I did see one of these light fixtures here, like this ring here. It was for sale at one point, and I didn't buy it, which I regret deeply, but there's been a lot of little knickknacks here and there that come up from the United States on the internet, and I would like to acquire them someday. I wonder what's in this wheelbarrow as well. More examples of the mid-century modern interiors of the ship. We got this little ramp here, and these door handles would say push with like that sleek 1950s font that you think of. Here's a door. Yeah. Most of the windows are also intact, by the way, which is very cool considering that they were mostly open to the dock. I think this is the port side. So this is the side that is against the dock, right? Or no? I think it is. Anyway, let's go. He's just walking down the promenade. I'll look at that. Okay. Now we're walking down. This door is in sad shape, but it's gonna be saved for the museum, hopefully. When all the lights were taken out, they just left all these open. And got more of those structural things there. Staircase, lines, everything like that. Now, I'm unsure what this is, but I'm pretty sure that there were lines or cable or something that went through those. Now, someone will have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I just realized that my chat disconnected. Let me see if anyone else is commenting. Yep. Oh, no. So how fast in miles per hour was the SS United States? Think of about like on a commercial road, like not on a highway, but like about 45, 50 miles an hour or so. Was hurtling thousands of tons of steel and aluminum through the ocean at the speed of a car. So That is quite interesting as well. The power needed for that was extreme. 44 miles per hour. Now, if I remember correctly, 44 miles per hour was what was officially released, but I am not 100% sure, but I think, now you would have to correct me if I'm wrong, but they could have pushed the United States to, like, throttling absolute, I don't know what you want to call it, but 44 to 50 miles per hour is somewhere in there, depending on where the wind is going. It is unknown what the top speed, like, officially. Now, I don't know if they released that or not. As I can tell here, maybe they did. But it'd be quite interesting if the government released the top speed of that. I don't know if they have or not. Okay, anyway, we're going back to the United States now. I forgot how to do that. Okay, here we go. That's not what I wanted to do. This one? Yeah, okay. Here we go. Let's just end it. Okay. Alright. I want to watch this one too, because that's a great video. And I don't need to watch the rest of that, but I'm going to... I don't know if I'm going to watch that right now. Let's just see. Does anyone have any questions for me? Any questions at all? Again, thank you 3 for watching right now. I've never had this many engaged viewers in one stream. Any questions? If no, it's fine. What should we do now? Maybe Project 401, Titanic. We got it pulled up here. Let's do that. I've played this before for the stream. Oh, here we go. Shout out to Dallas, by the way. When's your next live stream? That is an interesting question. I am not exactly sure when my next live stream is going to be. It could be in somewhere in August. I don't know if I'll get another one in July, but sometime in August would be the next one for sure that I can do. I'll release a post when I can tell for sure, but again, shout out to Dallas. If I remember correctly, the USS Lexington is near somewhere in Dallas. I know Texas is a huge state, but that's in Corpus Christi, Texas, sometime. I'll have to go to that. Okay. Now we're gonna go and have a look. Ooh. Okay, wait, that's loud. Audio levels. Sound effects. Music. Master.
Why didn't you just turn the master volume down?
I don't know. Let's explore the Titanic, shall we? Let's head into the... Can I not go to the engine room? I know I can go to the engine room, but... We'll look at some of the stuff that I wasn't pointing out on the Vaterland, like mooring equipment and stuff. So, for that, we'll go on to the first class promenade for that. Oh, shoot. I meant to do the boat deck, but whatever. This one is actually one that I can run around on, like this, right? Whoa, the controls are a little weird for this. Okay.
It's lagging.
Yeah, it's pretty laggy. I might...
You're at 17 FPS.
Let me turn down the graphics quality for this. Ooh, texture quality. high, medium. I don't know why I had the TSR. Okay.
TLSS, not sport.
No. Unapplied tech return to options. Okay. I turned down the quality and it fixed it a little bit. But anyway,
Really,
this is the first class promenade here. I have actually never noticed that the windows are like that on the outside of the ship. But that's cool. Again, there's the decorative windows that I've never seen before. Okay, now we're on the stern. This is the first class area still. Can I climb this? No. Okay. Can I jump? No. Okay. How do I get down though? Because I want to see the mooring equipment, and I'm going to explain that. And if I come across it, I'll go to the first class cabin as well that I've seen. That's like a almost horrible, too much head-hurting interior space, which is what it was in a $1 million Victorian home. But okay, now we're in the iconic grand staircase, but we don't need to explore these well-known spaces because there's much more interesting spaces to be seen. And if I can end up finding out how to get there, we can see the very front of the ship. And I'm not talking about like on deck, but there's a little area at the extreme front of the ship that no one, and when I say no one, I mean like almost nobody has known about or talked about. I like this room. It's not too ornate. I like the little golden details on the pillars, or stanchions, whatever you want to call them. But I have no idea how to get out of here. Can I? That's not a door, is it? That's not a door either. Huh. So I'm trapped in this room. That's cool. Maybe I can head over there, and that's a door, isn't it? Yes. Second class promenade. This is going towards the front of the ship, right? Really? Oh, bye, by the way. I know you're not in the stream anymore, but bye. Lusitania's propellers are on display in Dallas. Man, I was in Dallas a couple years ago. I didn't know that the Lusitania's propeller was there. Dang it. Dang it. Dang it. Should have seen that when I was there. Okay, this is the stern. I don't want to be here. I want to be at the bow. What am I doing? We'll just let this brilliant video load here. Okay, video, game, whatever. And I'm gonna head forward now. We're going forward, right? And I did find an error with the layout of this last time I was playing it, and I started to rage. Yep, there's the cabin. We're going in here just to show off what... Okay, so this is not what I was gonna think of. This is cool. This is a nice cabin. I would stay here. I love the walls, but there's one somewhere along here that's just horrible. Awful. I mean, that's just a hot take opinion, but yes, no, it's not this one. Again, this is a nice cabin. And apparently there's a door into this area here, and there's another cabin. A joint cabin, apparently. But, yeah, here's the bad one. This has horrible... Oh, gosh. I mean, maybe I'm just being picky, but this is, like, the walls are not my favorite. I don't know what kind of wood this is or anything, but it's very ornate and, you know, catches the eye, I guess you could say. We're at the grand staircase again, and I can't go through that door, which is great. I'm gonna have to go up to go down. Okay. Here we go. Any cabins that I can go into? Yes, there is actually. Oh, I've never been in here. This is second class, right? You're not. First class still? Yeah, I think this is first class. I think so. I'll have to find a map. This is nice too. I really like this cabin actually. Bunch of, I think this is a bunk bed up here actually. And a little lamp here. Very cool. Nice little wicker chair there. Double sinks. That's kind of weird by today's standards that there's a wash basin. Maybe this is even running water here. Just out in the middle of your cabin. Now, they didn't have ensuite bathrooms for the most part. There were a couple first class staterooms that had it. There was another door open right here. Yeah, this is the communal bathrooms that I was just about to talk about. So you go here to do your business instead of on an ensuite like most ships have today. Maybe I have to go down to go down. Maybe I should have done that because that would make more sense. So slow to go down these stairs, though. Can I go through this door? Probably not. Okay. Okay, I can go through this door. So let's just run through here real quick. I found one cabin that was a crew cabin, I think. That was really nice. And, okay, here's another cabin. This is nice, too. This is similar to the other one that we just went into. Got a little desk with the little rails on it so your pencil doesn't fall off. A small net for, like, whatever you put in a net. But, okay, you can't go out that way either. Time to go down another deck. Alright. And while I'm at it, it looks alright. Okay. Alright. Okay, yeah, we're in the dining room now, right? This is the dining room or the reception hall. I can't remember which. Where's the map? Oh, he was talking about the cabin, the ornateness of that. Again, this is like very ornate. I can't remember where it was, but like there was one room that I went into where it's just cluttered with every single decorative ornament and everything that you could possibly jam onto a cabin or a room. Wow, that's laggy. Can't go through here either, apparently. Yeah, it was pretty laggy in that room because of all the stuff that's in there. This is the entrance, and apparently it looks like we're still right now. I don't know why. I don't know what that is either, or this, in fact. But we'll go back into the laggy room, where it's horribly laggy and destroys my computer. Oh, Scotland Road. That's what I want to go into. Or maybe it's not. I think we're in the hull now. Yes, we are. We're not in the superstructure anymore. Steward's lavatory. Just keep running down this way. This is a lavatory also. That's just more of those communal bathrooms that I was talking about. Stairs to F. Got a bunch of storage here. This is what I can tell. Mail, or it could even be the potato storage room. The potato storage room was where they kept the ship's potatoes, and potatoes were very important on board these ocean liners because, oh, there's a map. Here we go. All right, what deck do I want to be on to get to the fireman's, not the fireman's quarters? I want to get to D deck, right? Yes, I do want to be on D deck because I can go to the stores room at the very front, and then I can explain the steam capstans stuff like that. I could also go to the very stern. I don't know why you can't go to the very bow, but, you know, yeah. What deck am I on right now? I'm on F. So, let's see. Can't do much on F deck, can you? I don't know. How about I'll just go up here and we will have a look at some stuff. Okay, this is... Huh. Wait a minute. There's a staircase here. I'm gonna head up this way. Oh. This is the mistake that they made. And right here, you can go out onto the bow, but you can't, apparently, because they made it so that you can't. But if you look here, this is the mast. Right here, this giant tube. And there's a shell door there. And a staircase here. Oh my gosh, I just fell off the stairs right there. Wait, let me do that again. Oh, you can't do it again. Okay, anyway, what's this? Okay, it's just a little cabin. This is kind of nice. I mean, again, hot take, but this is kind of obnoxiously ornate. But the style's not for everyone. I much prefer the United States' interiors, and I know there's hundreds, if not thousands of people that will disagree with that statement. Where am I right now? What is this? I'm on Scotland Road, right? At the very bow, third class. We were just in the trimmer's quarters, right? Or not? Windlass gear room. I want to go up 2 decks from here. Oh, man. Yeah, I have to go all the way up to the... I have to go all the way up to C deck. Okay, I'm just gonna find the grand staircase again. Oh, that's interesting. Little cabin there. And this is the cargo hatch. You can look down that in the bow, if I can ever find that. Maybe I'll just restart the game, and I will go there with the power of teleportation. Crew area forward. This is probably where I want to be, right? Yes. Alright, this is exactly where I wanted to be. This is all of the steam equipment. And this machinery here would basically operate those steam capstans up on the top deck on the forecastle, or forecastle, whatever you want to call it. And this machinery here, these little steam engines, which by the way are extremely cool, similar to the Kempton Park starting engines, but probably haven't heard of that. It's an extremely niche topic. Whatever. Basically, these are little steam engines that run from the... This pipe runs from the boiler rooms, and it connects to these steam engines here. And the steam engines turn these huge gears up to a windlass, or in this case, this is probably a steam capstan, and that basically winds up the winds up the lines, the mooring lines and such, to allow the ship to be docked. And if you look out there, that's where the line here, this is probably maybe even the main anchor. No, it's not the main anchor. This is where the ship would be under tow, if I can remember correctly. Yes. More steam equipment. This is a steam capstan, see? This connects to that, and this would rotate. And this is probably more for loading cargo into the cargo hatch that's right here. And you got those more of those little steam engines right here. That's cool. And I know that you can fall all the way down there and explode on the ground. But I'm not going to do that. And I have an idea. I'll be right back, just a second. But I'll leave. I'm going to leave for just a second. and I want to see a bunch of questions to answer when I get back. So I'll be back in just a second. I have returned. Oh, there's no questions on there. It's fine. All right, here we go. We're back, and I had to grab these. These are our little brochures from steamships, such as the SS Milwaukee Clipper right here, right? The Milwaukee Clipper, which is the oldest surviving Great Lakes passenger ship, as also seen right there. And I just wanted to share this because I went here a couple weeks ago and I would highly, highly recommend going here. They need all the help that they can get, and it's not in the best shape right now. And they just really need help restoring this ship and turning it into a floating hotel. The museum actually on board is really good, and I would highly recommend going to the Milwaukee Clipper. And I'm also going to pull up the City of Milwaukee, which is a train ferry, and they also have the U.S. Coast Guard cutter Acacia alongside the City of Milwaukee in Michigan. And you can see, this is just the inside here, right? But the city of Milwaukee also needs help, but for a different reason. They need to dry dock the city of Milwaukee so that it can be preserved, similar to the what is it called? The USS Silversides, which is in Muskegon along with the Milwaukee Clipper. They just towed that out so that it could be dry docked and restored. The city of Milwaukee needs that also, and they need a somewhat considerable amount of money to do that. They've already raised some, but this is very important. We can't afford to lose any more of these ships. And yeah, that's all I have to say about that. In addition to that, we also need help saving the NS Savannah, which is a nuclear-powered cargo steamer. Not cargo steamer, but, you know, cargo ship. It's a cargo passenger ship is the term that I'm looking for. Will drag me down to the corner like that, something like that, something like that. And we're going to get back to exploring the RMS Titanic. So we've already basically touched on all of this stuff, right? Steam capstans and everything. I'm going to fall down the cargo hatch. Okay, this is just a bunch of cargo, as you can imagine. It holds cargo. Lots and lots of cargo the Titanic carried, and all of this stuff would have been lost on the maiden voyage, which is unfortunate. And as we look, this is the staircase upwards, but I'm going to go over here for just a second because these are little drinking fountains. And this is quite interesting because this is one of the first ocean liners to feature drinking fountains. I think maybe I'm wrong, but the Lusitania and Mauritania could have had them also. Nothing over here. It seems that most of the crew only slash machinery spaces were painted yellow. Oh, this is good. We'll go up here to the mast, the crow's nest. And we can see the entirety of the Titanic's bridge and wheelhouse, boat deck, forward funnel, whistles, steam whistles there, right? And we got the bell of the Titanic here. You can zoom in, that's good. That's a running light there. It tells you where the Titanic is at to other ships, and we can see up here. We can look down onto the bridge, and those things there, those are fairlead rollers, and that allows the lines to go underneath of the railing without destroying the railing itself when there is huge cables slacking or pulling tight against the pier. So this would spin, and then you run the line underneath of this, underneath of the rail, and then you go to here. This is a steam capstan that spins and winds the line up, and then you bring the end of the line and you tie it up to a bollard. And that would allow you to successfully dock the RMS Titanic. Now, they didn't particularly need that for all that long, but yeah, there's the main anchor right here. You can't really see it. I'll go over here, but you can just barely see at the very front. There's an anchor crane that could spin around. Actually, I think it's correct right now. On the wreck, it's spun around. But basically, this picks up the anchor and it swings it over the side. And here, you see all of these little valves and whatnot along the deck. There's a lot more there. That would control all of the little capstans, and there's more capstans. These are for the anchor chains, and just back here, I think, windlasses maybe? Yeah, there's a pair of windlasses right there. And those are similar to capstans, just kind of flipped. And that would allow the flow of steam to those little steam engines that we saw down below. And that, I think, might conclude what I want to do with the Titanic as well. But I can still stream if I have any questions here. Oh, hello. Does anyone have any questions? I already asked that when I left briefly, but I can take any questions if you have them. What could I do now? Oh, that's a great idea. I know exactly what I'm going to do. Did I just leak it? I think I just accidentally did a face reveal. I think I just did a face reveal. Oh crap, I think I probably just did. Is that bad? Did anyone catch that? Okay, it's fine. I didn't get clipped. Ooh, I didn't get face revealed. That's good, but I got a bunch of postcards here. These are cool. Wait, I think the reflection's gonna clip me. Oh, no, it's not, because it's reflecting backwards. Okay. Anyway, I've got these over the time that I've been just researching ocean liners and stuff. So that's cool. That's down here already. Um, when was this said? What's this? Sorry. Just trying to figure it out because I have not done streaming in a little while, or at all for that matter. Definitely not professional. Maybe we can look at some Brightside AI garbage. Yeah, I think we're gonna look at some Brightside AI garbage. For now, I can see. Will this work? Oh, that's not gonna work. Oh, wait, maybe it will. Trending searches? How do I start? Microsoft Edge? Oh, wait, no, 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 no. I don't want that. Uh-huh. I think I'm just wasting time right now. So, if anyone else has any questions for me, I'll take them. And if not, I may stop the stream for now. I would sign in, but that would leak my IP, my address, my bank account, my social security, my everything. Okay. Just rambling now, so yeah. That's typically how we end the stream. It's just yapping about nothing. And if anyone else has any questions, I don't even know if anyone's watching. We got 3 people watching right now. Can I see who they are? No. But this was pretty successful. Pretty successful stream. Whole bunch of comments. And it's greatly appreciated. So, yeah. I think I'm going to end the stream. I'm going to come up with more stuff. Unless there's one thing that I could do. I could do a test with my brother and see if he knows anything about ships and if he's listened to my endless talking about these ocean liners, but I might save that for another day. So, this was the best stream we've had so far, and we have just reached 1,000 subscribers, and it is also greatly appreciated, and the only way now is to keep on. Oh shoot, I just hit my microphone. There we go. The only way is up from here, so anyway, all of the viewers, I greatly appreciate it, and